And we are underway with this practice session, just over 43 minutes remaining on the clock. Thomas Kruger Dorado has yet to register a lap time.
Sometimes you just want to feel the car out before pushing. No point in risking it early if the balance isn't there, and I've certainly done that myself.
Jimmy Lindo, still no time on the board for him. He's currently navigating the challenging turn 8, the carousel section, with just over 43 minutes remaining in the session.
That carousel is a real commitment. You're feeling for grip through there, especially if you haven't put a time in yet. It's where you learn a lot about the car's stability.
Niall Gagan still hasn't posted a time. He's currently making his way through the kink, a notoriously fast section of this track.
The kink is flat out if you're brave enough. You really have to trust the aero and the car's setup there. It separates the drivers who are confident from those who aren't.
Adam Tiaz, like a few others, still waiting for his first time lap. He's currently navigating Namuro Corner as we tick down towards 41 minutes and 59 seconds left.
Namuro is a tricky one. It's easy to overcommit on entry and lose time on exit. I always found it was about precise throttle control to get the power down cleanly.
Thomas Kruger Dorado now on the board with a 154.444, good enough for P4. He's back into the carousel section, looking to improve. Jimmy Lindo goes to the top. A 149.861 puts him firmly in P1. He's now into the carousel section again, perhaps on another flyer.
That's a strong time from Lindo. The carousel is where you really feel the grip levels, and if he's pushing through there, he clearly has confidence in the car.
Adam Tiaz jumps up to P2. A 150.830 puts him just under a second behind Lindo. He's currently navigating the bridge turn.
That's a good lap from Tiaz. The bridge turn can be deceptive. You need to be precise on entry and carry that speed through. It shows he's found a rhythm early.
Niall Gagan slots into P3 with a 151.184. Just a few tenths separates him from Tiaz. He's currently in turn 6.
Turn 6 is about setting up for the next sequence. If you get it wrong there, it compromises your exit onto the straight. Gagan clearly got it right on that lap.
Thomas Kruger Dorado remains in the carousel section, his 154.444 now putting him in P5 as others improve. Jimmy Lindo, despite his earlier strong lap of 149.861, has now been pushed down to P2 as others find pace. Adam Tias goes quickest, a 149.756 puts him into P1, just ahead of Lindo. He's currently exiting turn 10.
That's a fantastic improvement from Tias. Turn 10 is crucial for momentum onto the back straight, so he's clearly nailed the exit there to find the time.
Niall Gagan improves his time to a 150.791, keeping him firmly in P3 as the session continues.
He's finding consistent pace, which is exactly what you want in practice. Building confidence lap by lap and pushing the limits a little bit more each time.
Jimmy Lindo responds. A 149.444 now puts him back at the top of the leaderboard, P1, setting the fastest lap of the session so far. Niall Gagan holds on to P3 with his 150.791, as the top three continue to duke it out for bragging rights in practice. Adam Tias is still holding P2 with his 149.756. Lindo's earlier improvement has just pushed him down.
He's still right there though. A few tenths can be found in so many places around this track. He'll be looking at the data to see where he can shave that bit more off.
Jimmy Lindo continues to lead the way with that impressive 149.444. He's showing real pace early on in this session.
That's a commanding lap. When you feel that comfortable in the car, you can really exploit all the track limits. He's found the sweet spot.
Niall Gagan still sitting comfortably in P3 with his 150.791, watching the front two battle it out. Adam Tias, in P2, is through turn 2 now. He'll be pushing hard to try and reclaim that top spot from Lindo.
Turn 2 is a good place to start building momentum. If you carry too much speed in, you lose it all on exit. He'll be focusing on a clean run there.
Niall Gagan, in P3, is currently navigating the turn 8 perusal section. His 150.791 remains his best so far. Thomas Kruger Dorado improves his time to a 153.166, but remains in P5. He's currently through turn 7. Adam Tias still sits in P2, that 149.756 holding strong, but he'll be looking to shave off those 3/10 to catch Lindo.
3/10 is a fine margin. It could be one corner, or it could be a combination of small gains across the lap. It's all about finding that next level of aggression and precision.
Tim Weller registers his first time lap, a 153.780, putting him in P6. He's currently in the challenging turn 4/5, the S's.
The S's are a quick left-right-left sequence. You need to be very precise with your steering inputs and throttle. That's a decent first time, you'll build from there.
Adam Tias is back in the carousel section. Still P2, he's hunting for that extra pace. Tim Weller remains in P6 with his 153.780. A solid start to his session. Jareth Hallam on the board with a 151.389, slotting him into P4. A good opening effort from Hallam.
That's a strong first lap for Hallam, putting him right in contention with the top three. He'll be looking to fine-tune from here.
David Constable Barry still waiting to set a representative lap time. Just over 30 minutes left in this practice session.
He'll be getting to grips with the car, maybe scrubbing in some new tires. No panic yet, but he'll want to get a time down soon to understand where he stands.
Jimmy Lindo, now in P2, is heading through Namuro Corner. That 149.444 is still a fantastic benchmark, but he's been pushed down. Jareth Hallam holds on to P4 with his 151.389 as the times continue to tumble at the sharp end. Thomas Kruger Dorado currently in the carousel, P5 with his 153.166. He's looking to find some more time here.
He'll be pushing through there. You learn so much about the tire degradation and the car's balance in the carousel. It's a key section for understanding performance.
Jareth Hallam, P4, is now in turn 11, the Gulch. His 151.389 puts him just outside the top three.
The Gulch is a fast, sweeping corner. You carry a lot of speed through there, so confidence in the car and the setup is everything. He'll be trying to maximize his exit.
Neil Constable Barry still hasn't registered a time. He's currently making his way through the hump, another high-speed section.
The hump is a bit of a blind crest. You're trying to hit your marks perfectly without seeing the exit. It requires real commitment, especially in a practice session.
Thomas Kruger Dorado's 153.166 still sees him in P5 as the session progresses. Neil Constable Barry is through turn 2, still without a time on the board. We're getting deeper into the session now.
He's taking his time. Sometimes you're on a long run, or just making sure everything feels right. It's better to be methodical than to crash trying to rush it.
Jimmy Lindo, P2, is now into the S's. He'll be pushing hard, trying to find those extra tenths to get back to the top. Neil Constable Barry is making his way through turn 10, still no time lap from him yet. John Boontakis is out on track, in the bridge turn, but hasn't yet set a lap time. We're approaching the halfway point of practice.
He's probably getting a feel for the car on a full tank, or just scrubbing in tires. It's important to understand how the car behaves in different scenarios before committing to a fast lap.
Chris Stokes rockets to the top. A 148.902 puts him into P1, absolutely flying through La Diable. John Boontakis is through La Diable, still looking for his first time lap of the session. Neil Constable Barry finally sets a time, a 151.836, which puts him in P7. A solid start for him. John Boontakis is through turn 10, still no time on the board. He's one of the last few yet to set a lap.
He'll be feeling the pressure to put a time in soon. Even just a banker lap to make sure everything's working as it should be.
Thomas Kruger Dorado improves his time to a 152.239, but that pushes him down to P8 as others find more pace. John Boontakis finally sets a time, a 1:52.012, slotting him into P8. Not a bad first effort. David Constable Barry shoots up to P2, a 1:49.166, just a couple of tenths shy of Stokes. What an entrance. Neil Constable Barry holds on to P7 with his 1:51.836. A decent showing for him so far in practice. Thomas Kruger Dorado, now P9, is making his way through the hump. He'll need to find some significant pace to move up the order.
He's definitely losing out in a few key areas. It's about combining those sectors. The hump is a high-speed section, so any hesitation there will cost you dearly.
David Constable Barry, P2, is through the gulch, trying to chase down Stokes at the top of the leaderboard.
He's pushing hard. The gulch is a tricky, high-commitment corner. If he's getting it right there, he'll be gaining valuable time for sure.
Neil Constable Barry improves dramatically. A 1:50.403 puts him into P6, a huge jump up the standings. He's currently in the bridge turn. Thomas Kruger Dorado still holds P9 with his 1:52.239. He's struggling to find the pace of the front runners.
He'll be looking at the data, comparing sector times. Sometimes it's a small adjustment to the brake bias or the differential that can unlock that extra bit of speed.
David Constable Barry takes P1, a 1:48.794, just edging out Stokes. He's now in the carousel, looking for more. John Boontakis improves to a 1:50.256, slotting him into P5. A strong lap from him, currently in the carousel. Adam Tiaz improves his time to a 1:49.428, keeping him in P3. The top three are really pushing each other now.
That's what you want to see in practice, everyone trying to find that last bit of speed. It's great to see the competition already heating up.
John Boontakis, holding P5, is now in turn 2. He'll be looking to carry that momentum from his last flying lap.
He's finding his rhythm now. Turn 2 is critical for setting up the next sequence, so a clean run through there is vital for a fast lap.
Adam Tias, in P3, continues to push. That 149.428 is still a very competitive time. Niall Gagan, now P7, is navigating the S's. He'll be hoping to improve on his 150.791.
The S's are a real test of car balance. If he's struggling there, it could explain why he's dropped down a few places. Getting the car to rotate quickly is key.
Chris Stokes holds P2 with his 148.902. He's just been pipped by Constable Barry, but he's still very much in contention. Niall Gagan, P7, is now through turn 10. He's looking to carry speed onto the next sector.
He needs to get a clean run out of turn 10 to make up any lost time. That's a real momentum corner.
David Constable Barry improves again. A 148.691 puts him even further ahead in P1. He's absolutely flying through the gulch. Neil Constable Barry improves his time slightly to a 150.337, keeping him in P6. The Constable Barry brothers are showing strong pace today. Niall Gagan, P7, is once again in the carousel. He needs to find something special to climb back up the order. Adam Tias improves, a 148.985, but that drops him to P3 as others have also found speed. Still a strong showing. Jareth Hallam, now in P8, is heading through the hump. He'll need to find some serious pace to contend with the front runners.
He's been consistent, but the track's getting faster. He'll need to adjust to the evolving conditions and probably push harder through sections like the hump where commitment pays off.
John Boontakis remains in P5 with his 150.256. A very solid position for him with just over 12 minutes left.
He's looking comfortable in that top 5. Now it's about seeing if he can string together an even more perfect lap to challenge the top 3.
Jimmy Lindo, despite his earlier pace, is now in P4 with his 149.444. He'll be hungry to get back into those top 3 spots. Jareth Hallam's 151.389 keeps him in P8 as we approach the final 11.5 minutes of practice. Jimmy Lindo responds. A fantastic 148.652 puts him into P3, a massive improvement from him and showing his true pace. Jareth Hallam's 151.389 is still holding P8 as we take into the final 10.5 minutes. Adam Tiaz, now in P5, is through turn 7. The competition is really intensifying at the front.
He's still got that quick lap from earlier, but others are finding more speed. Turn 7 is important for the run through the S's, so he'll be focusing on a strong exit.
Jimmy Lindo, P3, is currently navigating the S's, clearly still pushing hard to find that ultimate pace. Joel Lemrick is out on track, in the S's, but still no time lap from him with under 9.5 minutes to go.
He's really leaving it late to put a time down. The track might be at its fastest now, so if he can hook up a lap, it could be a good one, but it's a risk.
Chris Stokes improves. A 148.602 now puts him into P2, just ahead of Lindo. He's through turn 2, pushing hard. Jareth Hallam, in P8, is in the S's. He needs a big improvement in these final minutes to climb the order.
He's got the time now to make a proper push. Finding the balance through the S's is key. It sets you up for the middle sector, so if he nails it, he could gain a lot.
Adam Tiaz is still holding strong in P5 with his 148.985. The top 5 are separated by very little. Jareth Hallam, P8, is in the bridge turn. Time is running out for him to make a significant move. David Constable Barry extends his lead. A stunning 148.192, absolutely flying through the hump. He's found another gear. Rich Snape rockets to P2, a 148.579, a massive jump up the order. He's currently through Connor Corner, a fantastic lap.
Wow, that's a late surge from Snape. To find that kind of pace in these closing minutes shows real intent. Connor Corner is tricky, so he clearly nailed that section.
Neil Constable Barry holds P7 with his 150.337. He'll want to find a bit more in these final minutes.
He's consistent, but the top 6 have really upped their game. He'll be looking at the onboard data to find those small gains, maybe a little more aggressive on the throttle.
Niall Gagan improved slightly to a 150.405, but that drops him to P8. The times are falling across the board. Dominic Fovard, yet to set a lap time, is in the bridge turn. Time is rapidly running out for him to make his mark.
He's really cut it fine. He'll have to get this next lap absolutely perfect if he wants to register a representative time. The pressure is on.
Tim Weller improves his time to a 153.303, but is now P12. He's struggling to keep pace with the improving field.
It's tough when everyone else finds speed. He'll need to dig deep to find those extra tenths in these last few minutes if he wants to move up.
Niall Gagan improves again, a 150.322, moving him up to P7. A good recovery for him.
That's a strong response from Gagan. He's clearly found some pace in these closing stages. Every tenth counts in a session this tight.
Rich Snape, P2, is now in the hump, looking to challenge Constable Barry for the top spot in these final minutes.
He's really pushing hard. The hump is flat out if you're brave enough, and it looks like Snape is definitely being brave.
Tim Weller is now down to P13. He'll have one last chance to improve before the checkered flag waves. Jareth Hallam improves to a 151.052, moving him up to P9. A good late effort from him.
He's definitely found some speed at the end there. When the pressure's on, that's when you really see what drivers are made of.
Thomas Kruger Dorado is in the carousel, P11. This could be his last chance to improve his time.
He's got to absolutely nail this lap now. Every corner is crucial in these final seconds.
Jareth Hallam, now in P10, is through Paddock Bend. He'll be crossing the line very soon. Thomas Kruger Dorado holds P11 with just 6 seconds left on the clock. He's unlikely to improve now. Tim Weller, P13 with a 153.303, is currently making his way through the hump as the clock ticks down with only 38 seconds remaining.
He's really up against it now. The hump is a high-speed section, so finding time there requires absolute commitment, and there's very little time left to do it.
David Constable Barry just set an incredible 147.684. He's absolutely on fire, extending his lead at the top of the leaderboard with just over a minute left in practice.
To find that kind of pace in the final moments of a session, when the track is rubbered in and you're pushing for everything, is exceptional. That's a true qualifying style lap, right there.
Jimmy Lindo improves, a 148.501, moving him up to P3. He's really finding his stride as the session draws to a close.
He's extracting more and more from the car. That's a very competitive time, and it shows he's not giving up on finding those last few tenths before the checkered flag.
Welcome back everyone. Qualifying is about to get underway here at the historic Le Circuit Mont-Tremblant for the Grand Prix League.
A 10 miles per hour wind might not sound like much, but at a track like this, you really feel it through the S's and on the long back straight. It can make finding those last tenths incredibly tricky.
And with just under 4.5 minutes left in qualifying, Neil Constable Barry is now out on track, navigating the challenging S's section.
Those turns 4 and 5 are absolutely crucial for a quick time. It's where you really establish the flow for the rest of the lap, and you're always a bit tentative on that first flying run.
Tim Weller is now on his out lap, making his way through turn 2 with just over 4 minutes remaining in the session. Jareth Hallam is pushing through turn 7 now, looking to get his first time lap on the board as we close in on the final 3.5 minutes of qualifying. John Boontakis is through turn 10, still looking to put a time on the board with just over 3 minutes left in this session.
Turn 10, coming off the Pont Bridge, is a tricky one. It's easy to run wide there and compromise your exit speed onto the back straight, so he'll be focused on keeping it tight.
2 minutes and 59 seconds remaining, and Neil Constable Barry still hasn't posted a qualifying time. He'll need to hurry.
He'll be feeling the pressure now. One mistake on this lap, and that's it. There won't be time for another clean run.
And Neil Constable Barry crosses the line, a 149.654, immediately putting him into provisional pole position.
That's a fantastic effort, especially with the limited time remaining. He's clearly found a good rhythm on his first proper flying lap.
Adam Tias is currently sitting in 4th, with no completed laps yet, but his delta is showing he's on pace for his best time on this run. With less than 50 seconds to go, Thomas Kruger Dorado is yet to set a competitive lap time. Tim Weller is still out there, but the clock is ticking down rapidly now, just 37 seconds remaining and no time on the board.
He's really up against it. He needs a perfect lap, right now, with absolutely no room for error.
David Constable Barry, currently in pole position, is absolutely flying. He's through the carousel and over 3/10 quicker than his best lap right now.
3/10 at this stage of the lap is huge. He's really found something extra on this run, pushing the limits, which is exactly what you have to do in these final seconds.
Joel Lemrick, currently in P6, is looking very good, half a second up on his personal best as he navigates the hump. Jimmy Lindo, currently P3, is flying through Namuro corner, almost 4/10ths quicker than his best lap so far. Jimmy Lindo crosses the line. A 148.740 puts him into second position. What a lap! Joel Lemrick, currently P6, is absolutely flying out there, over 6/10ths up on his personal best lap with just 51 seconds left.
6/10ths is a massive improvement at this stage. He's clearly found a serious turn of pace on this run, which is exactly what you need in these final moments.
Thomas Kruger Dorado, currently in P11 with a 152.742, is showing a 0 delta. He's on pace to match his best.
He'll need more than just matching his best to climb up from P11, especially with just over a minute left. He needs to find some serious pace.
Jareth Hallam, currently P9, is struggling on this lap. His delta shows he's over a second and a third slower than his best.
That's a lap he'll have to abort. With only a minute and a half left, he might only get one more shot to improve, so he needs to find some clear air and a much better rhythm.
Dominic Fovard, in P12, is looking to improve his 154.349, currently 100th up on his best. Joel Lemrick, currently in P4, is having a very difficult lap, his delta showing him over 12 seconds off his best pace. Welcome race fans, we are minutes away from the green flag here at the iconic Le Circuit Mont-Tremblant for today's Grand Prix. David Constable Barry, the Pro-Am driver from England, is poised on pole position in his WSC 60 Matra M630 BRM. Lining up alongside him, in second, it's Jimmy Lindo, an M-Class driver in the WSC 60 Porsche 910 Sixths. And in third, it's Chris Stokes from England, also in a WSC 60 Porsche 910 Sixths, a Pro-Am driver.
3 Porsches in the top 3, that 910 Sixths is a nimble car, good on a track like this if you can manage the rear end.
Down in fifth, it's Rich Snape from the United Kingdom, an M-Class driver in the beautiful WSC 60 Ferrari Dino 206S Berlinetta. And in sixth position, it's Neil Constable Barry, another M-Class driver, driving a WSC 60 Matra M630 BRM.
2 Constable Barrys and 2 Matras in the top 6, clearly a family affair with good taste in machinery. Having a teammate, especially a family member, can be a real advantage in a long race.
Further back on the grid, in 8th place, it's John Boontakis from Greece, another M-Class competitor in a WSC 60 Matra M630 BRM. And in 9th, we have Jareth Hallam from the United Kingdom, driving the WSC 60 Corvette Grand Sport, a Pro-Am class driver. Rounding out the top 10, it's Niall Gagan from Ireland in the WSC 60 Alfa Romeo Tipo 33, an M-Class driver. Just outside the top 10, in 11th, Thomas Kruger Dorado from the United Kingdom, piloting the WSC 60 Shelby Daytona Coupe, a Pro-Am driver.
The Daytona Coupe is a brute, incredible on the straights, but getting it to turn in through some of these tighter corners will be a real test of driver skill and setup.
Right behind him, in 12th, it's Dominic Fauvargue, also from the United Kingdom, in another WSC 60 Shelby Daytona Coupe, a Pro-Am class driver.
2 Daytona Coupes together, that could make for some interesting battles. They'll be looking to work together to use that straight line speed.
Down in 14th, Phil Bodkin from England, another M-Class driver, in a WSC 60 Porsche 910 Sixths.
Another 910 Sixths showing up further back. It's a popular choice for good reason. Very balanced.
The lights are out. We are green at Mont-Tremblant, a fantastic start from the front row.
The field surges forward, everyone trying to gain those crucial early positions. This first lap is always pure adrenaline.
David Constable Barry holds his nerve and maintains the lead from pole position into turn 1. Constable Barry is holding firm at the front, demonstrating a strong start to keep his Matra M630 BRM in the lead. Further back, Niall Gagan has held his 10th place in the Alfa Romeo Tipo 33, a steady start for the Irishman.
Maintaining position in a hectic opening lap is sometimes as good as gaining one. He's keeping himself out of trouble.
Adam Tiaz is also holding his ground, staying in 7th position through the opening corners. Tiaz remains in 7th, a cautious but clean start for him.
It's smart to pick your battles. There's a long race ahead and no need to risk it all on lap 1 if you're comfortable.
Neil Constable Barry is matching his brother's clean start, holding 6th position in his Matra M630 BRM.
Both Matras looking strong, that's a good sign for their team, a family I should say.
Neil Constable Barry is still holding 6th, but we see Adam Tias just ahead of him in 5th, now with a gap of 0.8 seconds.
Tias has made a move, or Neil has dropped back slightly. That's a reasonable gap in these early stages. It means Tias is getting good drive out of the corners.
We're now with Phil Bodkin in 13th. He's just 0.4 seconds behind Dominic Fauvargue in 12th, on lap 1.
Bodkin is pushing hard. That 2:06.027 lap time is a good benchmark, but he'll be looking to close that gap to Fauvargue, who has the pace in that Daytona coupe.
Moving to the front of the pack, Jimmy Lindo is now in 3rd, right on the tail of Joel Lemrick in 2nd, just 0.2 seconds separating them. Lindo is still in 3rd, but the gap to Lemrick in 2nd has widened slightly to 0.6 seconds. That's a shift we didn't expect.
Lemrick must have found some pace through the middle sector. Even a few tenths can feel like a lifetime when you're battling at the front.
Back to Phil Bodkin in 13th. The gap to Dominic Fauvargue in 12th is now 0.6 seconds, so that's widened a little since we last saw them. Phil Bodkin remains in 13th, but the gap to Fauvargue ahead has edged up again, now at 0.7 seconds.
He's losing just a little bit of time each sector. He'll need to find some extra pace or risk losing touch with that battle for 12th.
A surprise. Jimmy Lindo, who was just battling for 2nd, has pulled into the pits from 4th position on lap 1. Jareth Hallam is running in 9th in the Corvette Grand Sport, 0.4 seconds behind Chris Stokes in 8th. Jareth Hallam has gained a position, now in 8th, but the gap to Chris Stokes ahead in 6th has ballooned to 1.8 seconds. Something has happened there with positions around them. Phil Bodkin is now on lap 2 and has closed the gap to Dominic Fauvargue significantly. It's down to just 0.3 seconds.
That's a fantastic recovery by Bodkin. He's clearly found some rhythm, and that last lap time of 1:54.853 is testament to that. He's got Fauvargue in his sights.
And just as we said that, the gap to Dominic Fauvargue has inexplicably shot back out to 1.5 seconds. That's a huge swing. Now with Joel Lemrick, who is down in 9th, 0.4 seconds behind Jareth Hallam in 8th on lap 2.
Lemrick was up near the front earlier, so he's clearly had an issue or dropped back significantly. Losing positions like that can really hurt morale, but he's still pushing.
Tim Weller is in 11th, 0.6 seconds behind Thomas Kruger Dorado in 10th. Weller's last lap was a 1:53.755. David Constable Barry is absolutely flying out front, currently through the turn 4 to 5 S's, now with a 2.2 second lead over Rich Snape in 2nd on lap 3.
That 1:49.101 best lap shows he's really extracted the pace from that Matra. Keeping that momentum through the S's is crucial for holding the lead here.
Constable Barry has extended his lead over Rich Snape to 2.4 seconds. He's just pulling away lap after lap. Chris Stokes is currently in 6th, just 0.2 seconds behind Niall Gagan in 5th. Stokes laid down a 1:48.418 last lap. Chris Stokes has made the move. He's now in 5th, passing Niall Gagan, and has opened up a 0.4 second gap.
That's what you want to see. He used that strong lap time to his advantage, made the pass stick, and now he's pulled away. Clinical.
Phil Bodkin once again closes the gap to Dominic Fauvargue. It's back to just 0.3 seconds.
He's relentless. He's not letting Fauvargue get away. This battle for 12th is shaping up to be one of the best on track.
Phil Botkin has done it. He's passed Dominic Fauvargue and is now in 12th, with absolutely nothing between them. And just as quickly, Fauvargue has retaken the position. Botkin is back to 13th, with Fauvargue 0.1 seconds ahead. What a tussle. Chris Stokes is now in 5th, chasing Neil Constable-Barry in 4th. The gap is 0.5 seconds.
Stokes is building momentum. You can see he's hungry for that next position. Every 10th counts when you're this close.
Joel Lemerick is in 7th, and he's opened up a massive 4.1 second gap to Jareth Hallam in 8th. Now this is odd. Lemerick has dropped back to 9th, and Jareth Hallam is now ahead in 7th, 1.2 seconds up the road. We've certainly seen some unexpected swings in position and gaps today, haven't we? It's keeping us on our toes.
Absolutely. Even a tiny error in these cars, especially at a demanding track like Mont-Tremblant, can mean losing crucial tenths. You have to be absolutely dialed in for every single corner. I remember one race where a momentary lapse meant suddenly I was defending hard instead of attacking.
It makes you wonder what's happening internally, how a driver can gain then lose so much ground almost immediately.
It could be tire degradation starting to play a part, or just finding clear air for a moment. Sometimes, when you're pushing hard, you might outbrake yourself slightly, or have a less than ideal exit, and the car behind capitalizes instantly. This track demands relentless precision.
We saw Jimmy Lindo make a very early pit stop, which was quite a surprise so early in the race.
That was intriguing. It might be a gamble on an undercut, but more likely a quick check for a minor issue or an early tire change if they're struggling. You don't come in that early unless there's a good reason. It's a bold move, and it certainly mixed up the midfield for him.
Meanwhile, David Constable-Barry seems unshakable at the front, just extending his lead without any drama.
He's driving a masterful race, managing his pace, and avoiding any mistakes. That's the hallmark of a true frontrunner. He's in a different race out there right now, just focused on the track ahead.
It really shows the difference in strategies and pure driving skill across the field today.
Indeed, every driver is pushing their own limits and the car's limits, trying to find that perfect balance. It's a complex chess game at speed.
Jareth Hallam is in 9th, 0.8 seconds behind Joel Lemerick in 8th on lap 5.
Lemerick seems to be finding his pace again, but Hallam's best lap of 151.784 shows he has the speed to close that gap. This is a real cat and mouse game between them.
Jareth Hallam is still in 9th, but the gap to Joel Lemerick in 8th has now grown to 1.7 seconds.
Lemerick is responding well, extending that lead. It's tough when you're chasing and the car ahead keeps finding more pace. Hallam will need to dig deep now.
John Boontakis is in 13th, now just 0.2 seconds behind Dominic Fauvargue in 12th. He's closing in. Boontakis makes the pass. He's into 12th, pulling alongside Fauvargue, and there's nothing separating them as they head into the next corner. Tim Weller is in 11th, 0.9 seconds back from Thomas Kruger Dorado in 10th. Weller's best lap is a 1:53.293. Weller has shaved a couple of tenths off that gap to Thomas Kruger Dorado. It's now 0.7 seconds. David Constable-Barry continues to dominate, extending his lead over Rich Snape to 3.0 seconds on lap 6, and he's just set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:48.012. Neil Constable-Barry is in 6th, with Jimmy Lindo right on his gearbox, just 0.3 seconds behind in 7th.
Lindo has made incredible progress since his early pit stop. To be back in contention like this, pushing for position, that's a testament to his racecraft and the speed of that Porsche.
And Lindo has made the move. Neil Constable Barry is now in 7th, with Lindo ahead in 6th, 0.3 seconds up the road.
Fantastic driving from Lindo. He saw the opportunity, took it cleanly, and now he's got to defend. This is where tire management and anticipating the moves of the car behind really comes into play.
Joel Lemrick is in 9th, now 3.4 seconds behind Jared Hallam in 8th on lap 6. That gap has stretched out even further. Joel Lemrick is now 4.6 seconds behind Jareth Hallam. He's struggling to match that pace. Thomas Kruger Dorado is in 13th, 0.5 seconds behind Dominic Fauvard in 12th.
He's had a consistent best lap time but is struggling to consistently string together fast laps. He'll need to focus on clean lines to close that gap to Fauvard.
Kruger Dorado has closed the gap to Fauvard slightly. It's now down to 0.4 seconds. He's not giving up on that 12th spot. Chris Stokes is now in 4th, and he's right on the bumper of Adam Tias in 3rd, just 0.2 seconds between them. Stokes remains in 4th, but the gap to Tias has widened to 0.6 seconds. That's a little bit of breathing room for Tias. Thomas Kruger Dorado is still in 13th, still 0.4 seconds behind Dominic Fauvard, but that last lap of 202.198 is a concern. The gap to Fauvard has edged up again to 0.5 seconds for Thomas Kruger Dorado. He's just not able to make consistent gains. We're seeing a real mix of fortunes out there today, aren't we? Some drivers finding incredible pace, others seemingly struggling for consistency.
It's always a challenge. Maintaining focus and extracting consistent performance over a long race, especially on a technical track like Mont-Tremblant, is incredibly difficult. You feel every little change in the car, every slight slide, and you have to adapt instantly.
David Constable Barry at the front seems to be in a race of his own, just extending his lead with every lap.
He's driving a flawless race. That's the sign of a driver truly in sync with their machine. He's found that sweet spot and he's not letting go. You just try to hit every apex perfectly, carry the most speed, and ignore everything else.
And then we have drivers like Thomas Kruger Dorado, who seem to gain a little, then lose it again. What causes those fluctuations in pace?
It could be a number of things. Maybe he's pushing the tires a bit too hard in one sector and paying for it in another, or perhaps just running into traffic. Sometimes, your confidence takes a dip after a moment of instability, and it takes a lap or two to get back into the groove.
Jimmy Lindo's recovery after that early pit stop has been quite remarkable, fighting his way back into the top 6.
That really was a gutsy drive. Coming out of the pits, you're usually playing catch-up, and you have to be aggressive but smart. He's clearly found a good rhythm and is making the most of that Porsche's agility.
It's these midfield battles, where gaps are constantly changing, that really add to the excitement.
Absolutely. That's where the true racing is happening, wheel to wheel, trying to find that fractional advantage. It's exhilarating and exhausting all at once.
Thomas Kruger Dorado has closed the gap to Dominic Fauvard again. It's back down to 0.3 seconds in their battle for 12th. The gap remains at 0.3 seconds between Kruger Dorado and Fauvard. They are locked in a very tight battle for 12th.
This is going right down to the wire between them. Neither driver is giving an inch. It's a fantastic display of determined driving.
Phil Bodkin is now in 14th, just 0.1 seconds behind Dominic Fauvard in 13th. What a battle shaping up here as we near the end. The gap has just opened to 0.2 seconds between Bodkin and Fauvard. Every tenth is crucial now. Dominic Fauvard has edged out to a 0.3 second lead over Phil Bodkin, holding on to 13th as we tick towards the closing stages. A huge change here. Dominic Fauvargue has dropped 2 positions to 15th, and Phil Bodkin is now well ahead in 13th, with a colossal 8.4 second gap. That last sequence with Dominic Fauvargue and Phil Bodkin was absolutely astonishing. Fauvargue just fell off a cliff, losing huge ground in mere moments.
That's the kind of thing that makes you wonder if there's been a mechanical issue, or a big moment on track that cost him dearly. Losing that much time, that quickly, usually points to something significant. I've been there, where the car suddenly changes underneath you.
It's incredible to see such a tight battle turn into such a big gap in an instant, especially with only a few minutes left in the race.
The pressure really ramps up in these final stages. Every driver is pushing their absolute maximum, trying to gain or hold positions, and that's when mistakes can creep in, or cars that were on the edge mechanically finally give up.
Contrast that with David Constable Barry, who just seems to be in another dimension, calmly extending his lead at the front.
He's demonstrating exactly why he's leading. He's found that rhythm, that perfect balance, and he's not getting distracted by anything around him. That's the mindset you need to win, a tunnel vision for the checkered flag.
It goes to show that even in a dominant drive, there's always drama lurking elsewhere on the track.
Exactly. No matter where you look, there's a story unfolding. And with just minutes plus 1 lap remaining, anything can still happen.
It's going to be a thrilling conclusion here at Mont-Tremblant.
Every corner, every braking zone, will be crucial from here on out. The adrenaline levels will be through the roof.
Martin Mole is in 10th, now in the bridge turn section of the track, right behind Joel Lemrick in 9th, just 0.2 seconds separating them.
Mole is absolutely flying. That 147.026 best lap shows he has the pace to make a move. He's just trying to set up that pass right now.
Chris Stokes has moved up to 3rd position, and now has a comfortable 1.6 second lead over Adam Tias in 4th.
That's a strong move into a podium spot for Stokes. He's found some incredible pace in these later laps and is pulling away. You can feel the confidence building when you start opening up a gap like that.
Joel Lemrick is in 9th, 1.0 seconds behind Martin Mole in 8th. He seems to be losing ground here. Martin Mole is in 8th, through the S's, just 0.3 seconds behind Jareth Hallam in 7th. He's still pushing hard. Mole has made the pass. He's into 7th position, and Jareth Hallam is now right on his tail, absolutely no gap between them. Jimmy Lindo is in 5th, now just 0.4 seconds behind Niall Gagan in 4th. What a recovery drive this has been. Lindo has closed the gap even further to Niall Gagan. It's now just 0.3 seconds. Joel Lemrick is in 9th, 0.4 seconds behind Jareth Hallam in 8th. He's found some pace to close that gap.
It's relentless, this pressure. Hallam is under attack here, and Lemrick isn't giving him a moment's rest. This could be a photo finish for these positions.
Jimmy Lindo is in 5th, and he's now pulled out a significant 7.1 second lead over Neil Constable Barry in 6th. That gap has shrunk dramatically. Jimmy Lindo is still in 5th, but Neil Constable Barry is now only 3.7 seconds behind him in 6th.
Lindo must have had a moment, or Constable Barry has put in an incredible lap. To lose that much time in one go suggests something significant. This race is full of surprises.
Neil Constable Barry is in 6th, now only 1.8 seconds behind Jimmy Lindo in 5th. Joel Lemrick is in 10th, but he's now 6.3 seconds behind John Boontakis in 9th. He's really fallen back.
He's just not able to keep pace. Losing that much time implies he's either got a significant mechanical issue or he's just really struggling with the car's balance now. It's a tough final few laps for him.
David Constable Barry is absolutely cruising towards the checkered flag, just 20 seconds away, holding a commanding 4.1 second lead over Rich Snape. And David Constable Barry takes the checkered flag, a dominant wire-to-wire victory here at Mont-Tremblant. Rich Snape comes across the line in second place, a fantastic drive from 5th on the grid.
He really held it together in those final laps, maintaining his composure. A well-deserved podium for him.
Adam Tias takes 3rd, what a great drive to secure a podium spot from 7th on the grid. And Niall Gagan crosses the line to take a strong 4th position. Jimmy Lindo finishes in 5th, what a phenomenal recovery drive after that early pit stop.
Incredible resilience and pace from Lindo. That just shows you never give up, even when things look bleak early on. He absolutely earned that position.
Rounding out the top 9, we have Neil Constable Barry in 6th, Martin Mull 7th, Jareth Hallam 8th, and John Boontakis in 9th. Joel Lemrick brings it home in 10th position, securing a points finish after a rollercoaster race for him. And Phil Bodkin crosses the line in 11th, a hard-fought race for him.
He really battled in the midfield, showing incredible determination throughout. It's not always about the win, sometimes it's about those personal battles.
Thomas Kruger Dorado finishes in 12th, followed by Tim Weller in 13th. Dominic Fauvard crosses the line in 14th, after what was certainly a dramatic end to his race. Welcome race fans, Le Circuit Mont-Tremblant 1969 is about to explode into life. Perfect conditions with barely a breath of wind. On the front row, in P2, we have Tim Weller, an M-Class driver from the UK, piloting that iconic WSC 60 Shelby Daytona Coupe.
P2 is a fantastic spot to start, but for an AM driver, the pressure of holding that position into turn 1 can be immense. It takes a different kind of focus.
Right behind him, in 3rd, is Thomas Kruger Dorado, another Brit in a Shelby Daytona Coupe, competing in the Pro-Am class.
3rd is almost as good as 2nd for the run to the first corner. You have a clear view of the two ahead and can pick your line. That Pro-Am experience will serve him well.
Further down the grid, P5 sees Joel Lemrick in the Chevron B8 FBA, another M-Class entrant.
P5 is a slightly trickier starting position, right in the thick of the midfield action. You have to be aggressive but also smart, especially in a car like the Chevron, which can be nimble but needs careful handling off the line.
And starting from 7th, Jareth Hallam, from the UK, in the imposing WSC 60 Corvette Grand Sport. A Pro-Am class driver.
The Corvette Grand Sport is a beast of a car, and starting in P7, you'll need to use all that power to make up ground. My experience with those bigger, more powerful cars taught me you have to manage that torque carefully on cold tires.
9th position belongs to Neil Constable Barry, another Brit, in the WSC 60 Matra M630 BRM, an M-Class driver.
The Matra is a very different machine from some of the others on the grid. Starting from P9, he'll be looking for any early chaos to gain positions without taking too many risks in the opening laps.
Down in P11, we find Niall Gagan from Ireland, piloting the WSC 60 Alfa Romeo Tipo 33, an M-Class competitor. Right behind him, in P12, it's Adam Tias from England, also in a Matra M630 BRM, another M-Class driver.
Starting P12 in a Matra, he'll be hoping for a clean run through the first few corners. It's easy to get caught out in the midfield if you're not decisive off the line.
P13 is Rich Snape from the UK, driving the WSC 60 Ferrari Dino 206S Berlinetta, an M-Class racer.
The Ferrari Dino is a beautiful car, but P13 means he'll have to work hard for every position. You're constantly looking for gaps and anticipating what the cars ahead will do in that part of the grid.
Chris Stokes from England occupies P15 in the WSC 60 Porsche 910 Sixths, a Pro-Am class driver.
P15 for a Pro-Am driver in a Porsche 910/6 is a good challenge. He'll be aiming to pick off the Am drivers ahead and move quickly into the points-paying positions. Those Porsches are incredibly balanced.
And on pole position, Dominic Faux-Bard from the UK, in the WSC 60 Shelby Daytona Coupe, a Pro-Am class driver leading the field.
Starting from pole at Mont-Tremblant, you want to get a clean launch and dictate the pace. It's the best seat in the house, but the pressure to nail that first corner is immense. I've felt it many times.
The lights are out. A clean start for the field. Faux-Bard leads them into turn 1.
Everyone's jostling for position, but that pole sitter got away well. You can feel the tension in those first few meters, trying to get the power down.
Faux-Bard holds his lead. He's nailed the start and is already pulling a small gap.
That's exactly what you want from pole. Get clear, get settled, and then start building that rhythm. He's looking very comfortable out front.
Further back, Adam Tias has dropped a couple of places, now running in P14 on this opening lap.
Yellow flag, safety car is out.
And we have a safety car. A big incident has occurred somewhere on the circuit. The marshals are out, yellow flags are waving across a large section of the track.
This early in the race, a safety car completely changes the strategy. Everyone bunches up, and all that hard work from the start can be undone. A big incident like this on cold tires is always a risk. You have to be so careful in those opening laps, especially in a crowded midfield.
That's a real shame to see the safety car out so early. It always brings a halt to the rhythm everyone's trying to build.
It does, and for the leaders, it's frustrating, as any gap they've worked for immediately disappears. For those who lost places, it's a chance to regroup.
It's interesting how a safety car changes everyone's approach. You go from flat-out racing to managing tire temperatures and braking points behind another car.
Exactly. In my career, a safety car meant a complete mental reset. You're thinking about tire pressures, fuel loads, and how you're going to attack the restart. It's a different kind of pressure.
Mont-Tremblant is a tricky circuit, too, with some unforgiving sections. It's easy to make a small mistake that has big consequences.
Absolutely, it's a high-commitment track. You need to be precise, and with these classic cars, finding that limit can be exhilarating but also very dangerous if you overstep it. I remember a similar incident during a wet race at Brands Hatch. You just have to hold your breath and hope for the best.
So, for Faux-Bard out front, what's he thinking right now?
He'll be focused on keeping his tires warm, maintaining concentration, and planning his restart strategy. You want to get the jump on the field without going too early.
And for someone like Jareth Hallam in the Corvette down in P7, this is a golden opportunity to close up on the cars ahead, isn't it?
Yellow flag, safety car is out.
He'll be looking to capitalize.
Yellow flag, safety car is out.
The restart is their best chance to make significant gains.
Yellow flag, safety car is out.
The safety car remains deployed, confirming this is indeed a significant incident that will require time to clear. This extended period under caution is really going to test the driver's patience and concentration.
Keeping heat in the tires is going to be crucial right now, especially the brakes. It's so easy to lose focus and then struggle on the restart. I remember races where the safety car seemed to last forever. You're just itching to get back to racing, but you have to stay disciplined and ready for anything.
Safety car in this lap.
The safety car is in. We're going green again. The race is about to restart. As the green flag waves, we see Phil Bodkin now in P6, and Neil Constable-Barry has made fantastic progress up to P5, just 0.3 ahead. The camera now focuses on Jimmy Lindo, running in P15 on this first full lap after the restart, chasing Adam Tias, who is just 0.4 up the road in P14.
After the safety car, these small gaps become opportunities. Lindo will be pushing hard to close that down, looking for a way past Tias. It's a key battle in the midfield.
Green, 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 let's go.
Lindo has really closed the gap to Tias. They are now side by side, 0 seconds separating them in this fight for P14 and P15. Lindo couldn't quite make the move. He's now 0.6 seconds behind Tiaz, who's managed to pull away slightly on this second lap.
That's how quickly things can change. Lindo got right on his gearbox, but T has clearly found some extra pace or defended well. It takes incredible precision to make those passes stick.
Lindo has gained a position and is now in P14. He's still chasing Tiaz, who is also up one spot to P13, with the gap now down to just 0.4 seconds.
This is great racing in the midfield. Lindo is really on the offensive, and that slight decrease in gap tells me he's not letting Tiaz get comfortable.
Gareth Hallam has made incredible progress, now up to P4 and right on the gearbox of Dominic Fauvargue in P3, just 0.3 separating them through the carousel.
From P7 to P4 in his opening laps, that's a brilliant drive from Hallam in the Corvette. He's clearly found his rhythm and is absolutely hounding Fauvargue for that podium spot.
Now focusing on David Constable-Barry, P10, who is just a 10th behind Chris Stokes in P9 as they tackle the hump section of the track.
This is an intense battle. A tenth of a second is nothing. He's right there, looking for any opportunity. In my experience, these close fights in the midfield can be even more demanding than leading the race.
Constable-Barry is still holding P10, but Stokes has managed to extend that gap slightly to half a second now.
It looked like Constable-Barry was about to make a move, but Stokes has reacted well and put some air between them. It shows the quality of driving needed to hold position under pressure.
Jimmy Lindo is now in P11, and he's got Joel Lemrick right on his tail, just a 10th behind through Paddock Bend, defending hard. Martin Mull is in P2 and absolutely flying. He's just 0.3 off Thomas Kruger Dorado for the lead through the S's. Mull is piling on the pressure. He's closed the gap to Dorado to just 0.2, right on his rear wing for the lead. Mull takes the lead. He's made the move on Dorado, and they're now side by side as Mull pulls ahead. Phil Bodkin is right on the tail of Neil Constable-Barry for P5. Just a 10th of a second separating them. Oh, Bodkin has dropped a position. He's now in P7, and Constable-Barry has managed to extend his lead to half a second in P5.
That's a frustrating turn of events for Bodkin. You get that close and then lose ground. It could have been a small mistake, or perhaps Constable-Barry just dug deep and found some extra pace to defend.
What a brilliant move that was from Mull to take the lead. Absolutely clinical, he didn't give Dorado an inch.
That was a perfectly executed pass. When you're in that position, you have to commit completely, especially at a track like this. Hesitation costs you, and he didn't hesitate at all. I've been on both sides of that move.
And the battles further back are just as intense. We saw Lindo and Tiaz going at it, then Constable-Barry and Bodkin. The midfield is really alive.
That's where so much of the action happens. It's a completely different race there. You're constantly looking for an opening, defending your own line, and trying to read what 10 other drivers around you are going to do. It's physically and mentally draining.
With the race now properly underway after that safety car, what's the immediate focus for the drivers?
It's about settling into a pace, managing the tires, and trying to get into clear air if possible. For the leaders, it's about building a gap. For those in the thick of it, it's about minimizing mistakes and maximizing every corner. You're looking for clean air, because these cars perform so much better without dirty air impacting aerodynamics.
Adam Tiaz is now in P9, and he's closing in on Niall Gagan for P8, just 0.2 separating them.
Tiaz is really pushing the Matra now. He'll be looking to make a move, perhaps in the next braking zone. Those small gaps are where the real racing happens.
Tiaz is still in P9, but Gagan has extended that gap to half a second now, holding on to P8.
Gagan has responded well to the pressure. It's tough when someone is right on your gearbox, but he's shown good resilience there to maintain the distance. It's all about maintaining that composure.
Joel Lemrick is in P11 and is right behind Jimmy Lindo in P10, just 0.2 apart, looking for an overtake. Lemrick hasn't been able to make a move, and Lindo has slightly pulled away, the gap now up to half a second in P10.
It's all about finding that extra tenth to make the pass stick. Lindo clearly has a good defensive line, and Lemrick will have to work harder to find a way past.
David Constable Barry is now in P7, half a second behind Rich Snape in P6. He's looking to gain another position. Snape has managed to extend his lead over Constable Barry in P6 to 0.7 seconds.
Sometimes you just have to manage that gap when the car ahead is fast. Constable Barry will need to find a new approach if he wants to close that down again.
Rich Snape is in P6 through the S's, and he's now opened a 0.4 second lead over David Constable Barry in P7. Snape has climbed to P5. He's pulled away from Constable Barry, who is now in P7, though only 3/10 behind him.
That's an interesting turn of events. Snape has clearly found some serious pace, but Constable Barry is right there. It shows how quickly positions can change in this part of the field.
David Constable Barry is now in P8, and he's side by side with Joel Lemrick, 0 gap between them for P7.
This is a real fight. They're absolutely battling for that position. You have to be so precise in these situations, any contact could end their race.
Niall Gagan is P9, and he's got Adam Tias right on his bumper, 0 seconds separating them in this fight for 9th. Gagan has held his ground. He's still in P9 and has actually pulled a full second clear of Tias in P10.
That's a fantastic piece of driving under pressure. He absorbed the attack and then found some extra pace to break the toe. That's a true measure of a driver's focus.
Chris Stokes has rocketed up to P3. He's just 3/10 behind Jared Hallam for P2. Stokes remains P3, still locked in a fierce battle with Hallam for second, the gap unchanged at 3/10.
This is an incredible fight for P2. Stokes is clearly quicker, but Hallam is defending brilliantly. Every corner is a chess match, deciding when to attack and when to hold back.
Oh, a big drop for Niall Gagan, now down in P15 and quite a distance from John Boontakis in P14, over 8 seconds. Gagan is still in P15, but has managed to close the gap to John Boontakis in P13 to 4.5 seconds.
He's definitely found some pace there to start reeling in Boontakis. After such a big drop, it shows good determination to try and recover some ground.
Joel Lemrick has made fantastic progress, now in P6 and just 4/10 behind Thomas Dorado for P5 through the Carousel. Lemrick is closing. He's now just 3/10 behind Dorado for P5.
This is becoming a real threat. Lemrick has been consistently quick and Dorado will be feeling the pressure of that chevron in his mirrors. It's a tricky part of the track to defend at Mont-Tremblant.
Neil Constable Barry is now in P13, half a second behind John Boontakis in P12, looking to gain a spot. A big drop for Constable Barry. He's fallen to P15, and John Boontakis is now a full 10 seconds ahead in P12. That's a massive loss of ground for Neil Constable Barry, 10 seconds in such a short space of time. You have to wonder what might have happened there.
It's a big setback. It could be a moment where he ran wide, lost momentum, or perhaps the tires just gave up on him for a critical moment. Losing that much time means a big recovery drive is needed.
Meanwhile, Joel Lemrick continues his charge, now battling Dorado for P5. He's really found his rhythm since the safety car.
That Chevron B8 FVA is clearly working well for him. It's all about consistency and aggression, and he's showing both right now. Drivers who can keep their focus through those longer runs often come out on top.
We're heading into the final stages of this race now, with just 6 minutes plus a lap remaining. Every corner is going to count.
This is where the physical and mental stamina really comes into play. You're pushing the car to its absolute limit, managing fuel, managing tires, and trying not to make any costly errors. It's thrilling to watch, terrifying to live.
Joel Lemrick is now in P5. He's through on Dorado, and he's now chasing Rich Snape for P4, 6/10 ahead through the Carousel. Lemrick holds P5, maintaining that 0.6 second gap to Rich Snape for P4.
He's keeping the pressure on Snape, but that half-second gap is often just enough to make a clean overtake difficult without taking big risks. He'll need to really hustle to close that down further.
John Boontakis is in P10, half a second behind Adam Tias in P9, setting a blistering best lap for himself. Martin Mull is absolutely dominating. He's through the S's, a massive 16.5 seconds ahead of Chris Stokes in P2. Mull continues to pull away, still P1, the gap to Stokes in P2 remaining a colossal 16.5 seconds. David Constable Barry is in P7, still pushing hard, now 0.8 seconds behind Thomas Kruger Dorado in P6.
He's keeping Dorado honest, but that's a difficult gap to close without Dorado making a mistake. It requires a lot of consistent, fast laps, which is tough this late in the race.
Constable Barry has done it. He's made the overtake on Dorado, now in P6, and they're side by side. Dorado has dropped to P7, now 0.8 seconds behind Constable Barry through the Carousel. Dorado has closed up a little on Constable Barry for P6, the gap now 0.6 seconds.
He's not giving up without a fight. Losing a position like that can fire you up, and he's clearly trying to regain that ground immediately. This is the kind of back-and-forth action that makes racing so exciting.
Joel Lemrick has dropped down to P9, and he's now chasing John Boontakis for P8, just 3/10 ahead. A further drop for Lemrick. He's now in P10, and Boontakis has pulled 2.1 seconds ahead in P8. Rich Snape is in P4 through Connor Corner, and he's just 4/10 behind Jareth Hallam for a podium spot. Snape is holding P4, still exactly 0.4 seconds off Hallam for P3, the pressure is building. That drop for Joel Lemrick, after such a promising run, is a stark reminder of how quickly things can change in motor racing.
It really is. You're pushing so hard, and sometimes a tiny lapse of concentration, or a slight error in judgment, can cost you dearly. I've had races where I felt everything was under control, then suddenly you're defending hard and losing ground.
But on the flip side, Rich Snape is absolutely flying now, hounding Jareth Hallam for that final podium spot. What a battle for P3.
That's the kind of pressure that makes or breaks a race. Snape senses an opportunity, and Hallam will be trying everything to hold him off. Every corner, every braking zone, becomes critical at this stage.
With Mull so far out in front, it really does put all the focus on these battles for the remaining top positions.
Exactly. The race for the win might be settled, but the fight for the podium and the points is absolutely electric. This is where drivers earn their stripes, pushing right to the very end when fatigue is setting in.
Neil Constable Barry has recovered to P12 and is now 0.6 seconds behind Dominic Fauvargue in P11, a great recovery. Constable Barry has closed the gap to Fauvargue further, now just 3/10 separating them for P11. Jareth Hallam is now in P4, chasing Rich Snape who has moved up to P3, only 3/10 ahead.
Snape has made the move. That's a huge gain, and now Hallam is the one on the chase. This battle for the podium is intense, neither driver wants to give an inch.
David Constable Barry has made a fantastic recovery, now up to P5, though 6.4 seconds behind Jareth Hallam in P4. Constable Barry is still in P5, but the gap to Hallam in P4 has slightly grown to 6.8 seconds.
He's still doing well to recover positions, but that gap to P4 is probably too much to close in these final laps unless something dramatic happens. He'll be focusing on consolidating his top 5 finish.
John Boontakis is now in P8, and he's just 2/10 behind Thomas Kruger Dorado in P7. Boontakis has passed Dorado, he's now in P7, and they're side by side. Adam Tiaz is in P10 and he's right on the tail of Joel Lemrick for P9, just a tenth between them. Tiaz has made the move and is now in P9. Lemrick has dropped back to P7, 1.4 seconds ahead.
Wait, Lemrick is now in P7 and Tiaz in P9? That's a strange sequence of events. It looks like there was some significant shuffling in that group we missed on camera.
That last sequence with Tiaz and Lemrick was quite confusing. It seemed like positions were changing so rapidly we could barely keep up.
That's often what happens in those midfield packs. One car makes a move, another has to react, and suddenly 3 or 4 positions can swap in a single corner. From inside the cockpit, it's utter chaos, but you have to keep your head.
Absolutely. While Mole is running away with it at the front, these battles for P3, P4, and down to P10 are just incredible to watch.
They are, these drivers are fighting tooth and nail for every single point. It's not just about the win, every position matters for championship standings and team morale.
With just minutes left on the clock, plus that extra lap, the intensity is only going to ramp up. Everyone will be pushing their cars to the absolute limit.
This is where experience really pays off. Knowing your car, knowing the track, and knowing when to take a calculated risk or when to defend patiently. It's a very fine balance right at the very end of a race like this.
Martin Mole is cruising towards victory. He's just 20 seconds from the checkered flag, an incredible drive, 14.6 seconds clear of Chris Stokes.
This is a testament to perfect execution. To hold such a dominant lead all the way to the flag requires immense discipline and a car that's been flawlessly managed. You can taste the victory from here.
Martin Mole crosses the line. A magnificent drive from P8 on the grid to take the win here at Mont-Tremblant. And Chris Stokes takes second place. An outstanding performance, coming all the way from P15 on the grid.
From P15 to P2, that is a phenomenal drive. He truly carved his way through the field, showing incredible pace and racecraft. It's a huge result for him and the team.
Rich Snape takes the final podium spot, P3, a brilliant race from P13 on the grid. Jareth Hallam finishes in 4th, with David Constable Barry rounding out the top 5. And Joel Lemrick takes P6, a strong finish for him after a race of highs and lows. John Boontakis crosses the line in 7th, followed by Thomas Kruger Dorado in 8th.
Both drivers showed great determination, especially Dorado, who battled hard after losing the lead early on. These are hard-fought positions at the end of a demanding race.
Dominic Fauvard finishes in 9th, with Niall Gagan taking 10th place.
And rounding out the top 12, Neil Constable Barry takes 11th, with Adam Tiaz right behind him in 12th. Hard racing right to the end for those positions.
Phil Bodkin crosses the line in 13th, with Tim Weller taking 14th. Practice session is well underway now, just 8 minutes and 36 seconds left on the clock, and Jimmy Lindo still hasn't set a lap time.
It's unusual to see a driver hold back this long. Perhaps they're waiting for the track to evolve or making a critical setup change. I've certainly done it before.
Down to under 6 minutes now in this practice session, 5 minutes and 59 seconds to be exact, and David Constable Barry is yet to put a time on the board.
Every second counts in practice. Missing out on track time can really hurt your race weekend, especially when you need to find that rhythm. I'd be getting out there soon if I were him.
Joel Lemrick is currently in turn 2, 5 minutes 27 seconds remaining in practice, and still no lap time from him.
He's cutting it fine. Those early laps are so important for understanding how the car feels. I used to use every single minute, even just to scrub tires in.
David Constable Barry still without a time, now navigating the hump with just 4 minutes and 55 seconds left in this practice session.
He needs to get a clean lap in soon. You can't really dial in a setup if you don't even have a benchmark, no matter how much data you have. I always push to get a banker lap in early.
Phil Bodkin is in the Ladiable section, 4 minutes 23 seconds left on the clock, and still hasn't registered a lap time.
This late in practice, not having a time can be a real headache. You need to know where you stand, even if it's just to check basic systems. I'd be pushing hard now to get something down.
David Constable Barry making his way through the S's, turn 4 and 5, with just 3 minutes 50 seconds to go. Still no time on the board.
This is really unusual. With so little time left, you start to wonder if there's an issue with the car, or perhaps a tactical gamble that just hasn't paid off. You really need to maximize every opportunity in practice.
And Jimmy Lindo has finally put a time in, a 1:47.783, and that instantly puts him into provisional P1 with 3 minutes and 18 seconds remaining.
Well, there it is. Sometimes it takes a while to get everything hooked up, but when you do, it can be a significant jump. That's a strong start from him, especially given the earlier delay.
Joel Lemrick is in the Carousel, turn 8, with under 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining, and still no lap time on the board. David Constable Barry has popped up into P2, a 1:48.061 for him, currently in turn 2, with 2 minutes 14 seconds left.
That's an impressive first run, especially after holding back for so long. Clearly, whatever they were working on has paid off. It's all about making the most of those crucial setup laps, and he's done that.
Adam Tiaz is currently in the Carousel, turn 8, with just 1 minute and 42 seconds left, and he's yet to register a lap time. David Constable Barry still holding P2 with his 1:48.061, currently in turn 10 as we tick down to just 1 minute 10 seconds remaining. Tim Weller is in the Carousel, turn 8, with just 38 seconds on the clock and still no lap time from him.
He's really cut it close. At this point, it might just be a system checker and out lap. Getting a representative time is going to be incredibly difficult with so little time remaining.
Adam T is still without a lap time as we approach the very end of this session, just 6 seconds left. A very late effort from Joel Lemrick, a 1:51.078, putting him into P3 with 25 seconds remaining. Adam T is still without a lap time as we approach the final minute, just 57 seconds left on the clock.
He really needs to get a time in. Even if it's not perfect, it gives the team data to analyze. You want to carry some confidence into qualifying.
Jimmy Lindo has improved his best time, a 1:47.478, and he remains firmly in P1 with a minute and a half left in practice. Welcome to Le Circuit Mont-Tremblant 1969 for Grand Prix League qualification. A brisk 8 miles per hour wind greets the drivers as they prepare to lay down their flying laps. The green flag is out and Adam Tiaz is currently navigating the twisty Le Diable section, still looking for his first time lap of the session with just over 4.5 minutes remaining. David Constable Barry is now out on track, through turn 6, still searching for his first representative lap time in this 5-minute qualifying session.
Turn 6 is a key corner here, it really sets you up for the run towards the back straight. Getting that right on cold tires is crucial for a strong early lap.
Gareth Hallam is making his way through turn 7, yet to post a lap time with just under 4 minutes left on the clock in this intense qualifying. John Boontakis is out on track as well, with 3 minutes and 17 seconds remaining, still looking for a time to get him onto the grid. Three minutes on the clock now, and Adam Tiaz is still without a qualifying time. The pressure is certainly building for him.
He needs to find clear air and string a lap together. On a track like Mont-Tremblant, any traffic can cost you crucial tenths.
Neil Constable Barry is currently navigating the fast turn 4 and 5 S's, trying to put a lap on the board with under 2.5 minutes left. Neil Constable Barry lays down a scorching 150.562, immediately rocketing to the top of the leaderboard with just over a minute to go. And here's Jimmy Lindo, he's just posted a 147.703 to grab second spot. He's currently just a 100th off that time on his current push. Phil Bodkin with a 151.180, putting him in P5 for now, and he's currently 400ths quicker than that best time on his current flying lap. Gareth Hallam is pushing through the kink, time is running out for him to set a lap, just 37 seconds remaining. Neil Constable Barry is absolutely flying. He's currently 1.23 seconds faster than his previous best of 150.562, which has dropped him to P6.
That's a massive improvement. He's finding something significant out there, maybe putting all the pieces together for a perfect lap right when it counts.
Chris Stokes is through the hump section, needing to find pace quickly with only 11 seconds left in qualifying and no lap time on the board. Chris Stokes crosses the line, but it's a 0.000 lap, placing him P15 with a mere 7 seconds on the clock.
A real shame. That's likely a penalty for exceeding track limits or a spin. Hard to recover from that with so little time left.
Neil Constable Barry is still flying on this lap, now 1.1 seconds ahead of his personal best with just 31 seconds left in the session.
He needs to maintain that focus right to the line. With such little time left, this could be his only opportunity to improve.
David Constable Barry is pushing hard through Paddock Bend, already half a second up on his 149.106, currently holding 5th position with under 50 seconds remaining.
Paddock Bend is the last real chance to gain time before the start-finish straight. Being over half a second up there means he's absolutely maximizing the end of this lap.
John Boontakis is still without a recorded lap time, and the clock is ticking down rapidly with just 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. Jareth Hallam is making his way through Namero Corner, needing to complete a clean lap with just 1 minute and 18 seconds remaining and no time on the board.
Namero Corner is crucial for carrying speed onto the following straight, a mistake that could compromise his entire flying lap.
Phil Bodkin is currently running a difficult lap, 15 seconds off his 149.997 best, which has him in P9 with just under 2 minutes of qualifying left. Good afternoon race fans and welcome to the iconic Le Circuit Mont-Tremblant for the 1969 Grand Prix. The atmosphere is electric and the cars are poised on the grid.
Mole on pole, Matra M630BRM, a fantastic car for this track. He'll be looking to make that advantage count right from the green light.
And starting just behind Mole, in 3rd position, is David Constable Barry, also in a Matra M630BRM. From 4th place, we have Niall Gagan from Ireland in the Alfa Romeo Tipo 33.
An M-Class driver starting high up the grid, that Alfa Romeo is a challenging car to master here, but it can be quick if you get it right. Rich Snape, another M-Class driver, in the Ferrari Dino 206S Berlinetta. That car is beautiful and responsive, but can be quite a handful through the high-speed corners.
And in 6th, we have Adam Tias, another Matra M630BRM, looking to make his way up through the field.
It's always tough starting in the pack with these cars. You need a strong opening lap to stay out of trouble and make progress.
7th on the grid, we see Neil Constable Barry, in another of those potent Matra M630BRMs.
There are a lot of Matras near the front, which often points to a well-suited car for the circuit. Getting clean air in the middle of the pack will be key for him.
And in 9th, it's Phil Bodkin in the Porsche 910 Sixths.
Dominic Fauvargue in the Shelby Daytona Coupe from 10th. That Shelby is an absolute beast on the straights, but can be quite a handful through the tighter sections here.
Just behind Fauvargue, in 11th, Thomas Kruger Dorado, also in a Shelby Daytona Coupe. And completing the trio of Shelbys is Tim Weller, starting from 12th position.
3 Shelbys in a row, if they can work together, they could really move up the field, using that straight line speed.
John Boontakis from Greece starts in 13th, piloting a Matra M630BRM.
He's got a good car under him, but starting from the middle of the pack means he'll need to be aggressive early on, while also keeping it clean.
Chris Stokes starts from 14th position, in the Porsche 910 Sixths. Joel Lemrick, in the Chevron B8 FVA, starts from 15th on the grid.
The Chevron B8 is a nimble little car, great through the twisty bits. From 15th, he'll be looking to pick off cars early on and use that handling advantage.
The lights are out and we are underway at Mont-Tremblant. A great start from the front row.
Everyone's jostling for position into turn 1. You can feel the tension as they funnel into that first corner, critical for the entire lap.
Martin Mull holds onto the lead through the first few corners, a very strong start for him.
That's exactly what he needed to do. Get out in front, avoid the chaos behind, and start building that gap. It's much easier to control the race from there.
Further back in the field, Tim Weller holds steady in 12th position.
Maintaining position in the opening lap isn't always easy, especially in that Shelby. He'll be looking for opportunities once things settle down.
Tim Weller continues to run in 12th position, a steady start for him.
Sometimes on the first lap, the goal is just to survive. He's holding his ground, which is smart given the traffic around him.
Thomas Kruger Dorado also maintains his starting position, currently in 11th.
He's another driver in a Shelby, probably looking to get into a rhythm before really pushing that powerful car on the straights.
A change at the front. Jimmy Lindo, who started second, has dropped back to third.
He's lost a place there, perhaps a slightly cautious entry into the first corner, or maybe he just didn't get the punch off the line he wanted. It's a long race, but you don't want to lose ground early.
It's Constable Barry who has moved up into second place, now ahead of Lindo by half a second, a strong move from the Englishman. Down the field, Niall Gagan is now in 7th, just 0.3 behind Neil Constable Barry, with his first lap coming in at 1:59.235.
Gagan is really pushing hard, closing the gap to Constable Barry to just 0.2 now. He's clearly found some pace and is looking for a way past.
Back to the front, Jimmy Lindo is now just 0.2 behind Constable Barry, that gap shrinking quickly, with Lindo posting a 1:54.586 on his first tour.
Lindo is definitely on the attack. He won't want to stay in third for long. You can tell by how he's closing in, he's found a rhythm early on.
Lindo seems to have lost a fraction of a second. The gap to Constable Barry has just nudged back out to 0.3.
Constable Barry might have found a stronger line through a corner, or Lindo just made a tiny error. In these close battles, every hundredth counts.
Further back in the field, Thomas Kruger Dorado is closing on Dominic Fauvard, the gap now only 0.3, with a 2:03.340 first lap.
This is where that Shelby straight line speed could be useful for Dorado. If he can stay close through the corners, he might be able to make a move on Fauvard. It's a good battle in the middle of the pack.
John Boontakis, in the Matra, is on the hunt, just 0.3 behind Jareth Hallam for 8th, after a 2:00.444 opening lap.
It looks like Boontakis has just lost a couple of tenths there. The gap to Hallam is now up to half a second. He'll want to close that down quickly.
Further back now, Niall Gagan has dropped to 9th, 2.5 seconds behind Jareth Hallam, but just set a fantastic 1:50.290, his best lap.
He's lost a couple of positions, but that lap time is seriously impressive for an M-Class driver. It tells me he's pushing very hard, so he'll be looking to make up those places soon.
Gagan has actually gained a position, now in 8th, but the gap to Hallam has just stretched out to 2.6 seconds.
He might have benefited from someone else's mistake there, but that gap growing is a bit puzzling after such a quick lap. He needs to find some consistency to close that down. Dominic Fauvard is in the turn 8 carousel section, holding 11th position, keeping Phil Bodkin at bay by 0.6. He put in a 1:53.548 last lap in that Shelby.
Fovard maintaining that 6/10 advantage over Bodkin, holding a strong defensive line through the carousel. At the sharp end of the field, Lindo remains in third, half a second back from Constable Barry, but he's just posted an incredible 148.649, his new best lap.
Now that's a statement of intent. That kind of pace will put serious pressure on Constable Barry, who won't be able to afford any mistakes if he wants to keep Lindo behind him. My guess is Lindo is looking for an overtake very soon.
Phil Bodkin is really closing in on Dominic Fovard now, the gap just 0.3 of a second. He's recorded a 153.296 on his last lap.
Oh, Bodkin has dropped a position, now in 13th, and the gap to Fovard has stretched to 0.7. He's clearly had a moment there.
John Boontakis is in the S's, running in 10th, closing to within 0.3 of Chris Stokes, after a 152.911 last lap.
Still 0.3 of a second to Stokes. Boontakis is really trying to find a way past in the S's, it's a tricky section to overtake.
Lindo is piling on the pressure. He's just recorded a sensational 147.844 lap, and the gap to Constable Barry is down to just 0.2.
Oh, the gap has opened back up slightly to 0.4. Lindo might have overcooked it a little on that last pusher. Constable Barry responded with a quick sector.
We're seeing some really dynamic racing out there today, especially with the battles for those podium positions.
Absolutely, Hal. Maintaining that rhythm lap after lap is what separates the frontrunners, especially on a technical track like this. It's not just about raw pace, it's about consistency.
It's fascinating how quickly those gaps can open and close. Lindo was just 0.2 back, now it's 4 again. It shows how fine the margins are.
Every single corner, every brake application, every gear change makes a difference. I remember races where I'd gain a 10th in one sector, lose it in another, trying to find that perfect balance.
And the variety of cars too. The Matras are clearly strong, but the Shelbys are keeping them honest on the straights. That must be quite a chess match for the drivers.
It is. You have to know your car's strengths and weaknesses and then exploit them. If you're in a Shelby, you're always thinking about where you can get a run out of the corner. If you're in a Matra, you're trying to defend that into the braking zone.
We've also seen some strong performances from the M-Class drivers, particularly Niall Gagan earlier on.
He really put in an impressive lap. It just goes to show that talent can shine through, regardless of class, if they can keep it on the track and minimize mistakes.
The wind at 10 km/h, is that enough to truly impact the handling of these cars, particularly in the S's or the carousel?
Definitely. Even a slight crosswind can unsettle the aero, especially in the high-speed corners. You have to anticipate it, almost feel the car breathing with the air, and adjust your line. It adds another layer of challenge.
It makes you appreciate the skill involved, doesn't it? Just keeping these powerful machines on the tarmac at these speeds is remarkable.
It certainly does. Every driver out there is pushing to the absolute limit, lap after lap. It takes incredible concentration and physical stamina to maintain that for the duration of a race.
Phil Bodkin is currently in 13th, 0.6 behind Thomas Kruger Dorado, but his last lap was a 2:00.855, significantly slower than his best.
That's a big time loss for Bodkin on that last lap. He must have had a major wobble or runoff somewhere, because that's several seconds off his pace. He'll be trying to make that time back up now.
Chris Stokes is running strong in 8th position, with Niall Gagan now 0.7 behind him. Stokes just delivered a rapid 148.490, his best lap of the race.
That's an excellent lap from Stokes in that Porsche. He's really found his rhythm and is putting some clean air between himself and Gagan, which is exactly what you want when you're being hunted down.
That gap has narrowed considerably now, only 0.4 between Stokes and Gagan.
Gagan must have responded to Stokes' fast lap, or Stokes made a small error. These two are really pushing each other. That's fantastic racing to watch.
Niall Gagan continues to pursue Chris Stokes, with that gap remaining at 4/10. Gagan's last lap of 1:51.156.
Gagan has actually made up a position and is now in 8th. But the gap to Stokes has just grown to half a second. He needs to maintain that pace.
Huge change for Gagan. He's dropped back to 9th position, and the gap to Stokes, now in 7th, has absolutely ballooned to 5.7 seconds.
He must have had a major off-track excursion or an issue with the car. That's a massive amount of time to lose in such a short period, especially after just making up a position.
Adam Tiaz is holding strong in 5th place, just under a second behind Neil Constable-Barry, with his last lap clocked at 1:49.209.
He's keeping the pressure on Constable-Barry there. That Matra is clearly working well for him, and a sub-second gap means he's always in striking distance if an opportunity arises.
Tiaz has closed insignificantly. The gap to Constable-Barry is now just half a second.
He's really found some pace in this sector. Constable-Barry will be seeing him in his mirrors now, that's for sure. The pressure is on.
Joel Lemrick, in the Chevron, is in 11th, 6/10 back from Dominic Fauvard, after a 1:59.423 lap. Lemrick is absolutely flying now. He's closed that gap to Fauvard to a mere 0.2 of a second.
He's putting that nimble Chevron B8 to good use. If he can maintain that speed through the next corner, he's definitely in a position to challenge for 10th.
Adam Tiaz is now in 6th place, still half a second behind David Constable-Barry, with a 1:49.039 on his last tour.
Tiaz is really digging deep. The gap to Constable-Barry is now down to just 4/10. He's relentless out there.
Thomas Kruger Dorado is now in 12th, 0.8 back from Joel Lemrick, after a 1:52.358 lap, his best so far.
Dorado has lost some ground there. The gap to Lemrick now stretches to 1.1 seconds. He might have struggled through one of the tighter sections.
We're seeing these gaps ebb and flow constantly now, especially in the midfield. It's truly a test of endurance and consistency.
It really is, how? These drivers are pushing the limits every single lap. The slightest loss of concentration or a tiny misjudgment can cost you tenths, or even seconds, as we've seen with some of those fluctuating gaps.
Adam Tiaz, for example, has been relentless in his pursuit of Constable-Barry. Every time it looks like the gap is stabilizing, Tiaz finds another tenth or two.
That's when you know a driver is really in the zone. When I was racing, seeing that gap shrink in your mirrors just lights a fire under you. You either respond and push harder, or you lose the position.
And we're entering the final stages of this race, with just over 7 minutes plus a lap remaining. Does that change the approach for drivers, knowing the end is in sight?
Absolutely. It becomes a sprint. You start taking more risks, pushing slightly harder on the brakes, carrying more speed through corners. But you also have to manage your tires and not make a mistake. It's a delicate balance. I remember races where I'd spent the last 5 minutes just willing the car to hold on.
The attrition rate has been quite low so far, which is a testament to the drivers and their machines on this challenging Mont-Tremblant circuit.
It speaks to the quality of the field. This track demands precision and respect. It's very easy to overcook it here, especially if you get offline. Keeping it clean for this long is an achievement in itself.
It's always a question of how much more the tires can give too, isn't it?
Definitely. They're going to be losing grip now, especially in the rear. You have to adapt your driving style, be smoother, earlier on the throttle, or you'll just slide wide. It's a constant battle against degradation.
We're set for an exciting conclusion, that's for sure.
Every second counts now. No one wants to ease off when there are still positions to be gained or defended.
David Constable-Barry is now in 5th, just 4/10 off Neil Constable-Barry in 4th. His last lap was a 1:49.314.
The gap has just opened to half a second between the two Constable-Barrys. David will be pushing hard to close that back up again.
A change of position. David Constable Barry has passed Neil Constable Barry and is now in 4th, with absolutely nothing between them. Dominic Fauvargue is in 11th, a second and a half behind Joel Lemerick. He just put in a 1:54.807 lap.
Fauvargue is losing more ground. The gap to Lemerick is now 1.9 seconds. That Shelby just isn't able to keep pace right now.
Chris Stokes is running in 6th position, 2.2 seconds behind Neil Constable Barry. Stokes has just set a fantastic new best lap, a 1:47.650.
He's absolutely flying out there. That's a brilliant lap time. If he can maintain that kind of pace, he could close in quickly in these final minutes.
Huge change for Chris Stokes. He's dropped 2 positions to 8th, and the gap to Neil Constable Barry has ballooned to over 14 seconds. What on earth happened there? That's an astonishing turnaround for Chris Stokes, dropping from 6th to 8th and losing over 10 seconds in what seemed like an instant.
He must have had a significant moment out there. How? A big slide, an off-track excursion, or perhaps even a spin. To lose that much time, it wouldn't have been a simple mistake. I've had those moments, where the car just decides to go its own way for a second.
And after setting his best lap just moments before, too. That's a real blow to his race.
It is. It's incredibly frustrating when you've just found your rhythm and then something like that happens. Now it's about damage limitation and trying to get back into a consistent pace, but those places will be very hard to recover.
We're down to just 4 minutes plus a lap now. The intensity must be through the roof for everyone out there.
Oh, it absolutely is. Every corner feels like the last, every straight is an opportunity. You're pushing everything, tires, engine, your own concentration, to the maximum, knowing there's almost no time left to make up for any error.
The battle between David and Neil Constable Barry for 4th was also fantastic, with David making the move.
That was great driving from David. Sometimes you just have to commit to the pass, and he found the gap. It's not often you see drivers with the same last name battling it out so closely either.
It's all building towards a very exciting finish here at Mont-Tremblant.
Every single driver will be giving it everything they have. These final minutes are where legends are made and races are won or lost.
Jimmy Lindo is currently in 3rd in the hump section, now 1.7 seconds behind Rich Snape, after a 1:47.640 last lap.
Lindo has shaved 0.2 off that gap to Snape, now 1.5 seconds. He's really pushing hard to try and get that second place spot.
Thomas Kruger Dorado continues in 11th, 1.2 seconds behind Dominic Fauvargue, after a 1:52.445 on his last tour. Dorado has closed in nicely now. That gap to Fauvargue is down to 9/10.
He's finding some late pace. That Shelby must be more settled now, or he's just found his rhythm. He'll be looking to make a move before the checkered flag now.
Jareth Hallam is in 8th, just 9/10 behind Chris Stokes in 7th, with a 1:51.044 last lap.
Hallam has lost a considerable amount of time there. The gap to Stokes has stretched out to 2.2 seconds. A real blow to his chances of 7th.
Jimmy Lindo continues his charge in 3rd, now just 1 second back from Rich Snape after a 1:47.532 last lap.
Lindo is closing in. Only 0.8 separates him from Snape now. This is going to be a nail-biter for second place.
What a finish we're shaping up for, especially with Lindo relentlessly chasing Snape for that second position.
He's absolutely flying now. When you're in the car, and you see that gap shrinking lap after lap, the adrenaline really kicks in. Snape will be feeling the pressure big time. He knows Lindo is right there, trying to find any weakness.
It's interesting how some drivers find their best pace in these closing stages, almost like the pressure sharpens their focus.
It can. For some, the red mist descends and they push too hard. For others, it's about hitting their marks perfectly, knowing there's no room for error. Lindo seems to be in the latter category right now. He's finding serious pace.
And we've seen other drivers struggle, like Hallam, losing significant time. It shows how quickly fortunes can change.
It's a tough circuit, and these cars require absolute concentration. One small lapse and you can be off the pace, or worse, off the track. I've seen races turn on a dime in the final laps.
Any thoughts on Martin Mole, who seems to have held a comfortable lead throughout the race?
He's done exactly what you need to do from pole. Got a clean start, established a gap, and then managed the race. That's a sign of a truly controlled drive, even if we haven't seen much of him on camera.
Indeed, it's often the quiet ones who are doing the most effective work out front.
Absolutely, no drama, just pure, consistent speed. That's how championships are won.
With the time running out, will Lindo have enough laps to make that move on Snape?
It's going to be very close. He needs to be aggressive but also smart. One opportunistic move could be all it takes. This is going to the wire.
Dominic Fauvargue is still in 11th, 9/10 behind Thomas Kruger Dorado, after a 152.986 last lap.
He's struggling to close that final gap to Dorado. He needs to find something extra in these last few minutes if he wants to gain a position.
Fauvargue has lost some ground again, the gap to Dorado now extended to 1.2 seconds. Lindo is relentless. He's just set a new best lap, a 147.027, and the gap to Rich Snape for second is now only 7/10. Snape has responded. The gap to Lindo has just edged back out to 9/10.
That's what you call defensive driving. Snape knew Lindo was coming and he's found a little bit more pace to hold him off. This battle is fantastic.
Dominic Fauvargue in the hump, 1 second behind Thomas Kruger Dorado for 10th, after a 153.030 last lap.
Fauvargue has closed that gap slightly now to 9/10. He's not giving up on that 10th position.
Lindo is still pressing Snape, the gap now 8/10. His last lap was a 148.214.
Lindo has found another 2/10. The gap is down to 6/10. He is absolutely pushing to the limit.
Martin Mole is cruising towards victory now, just 20 seconds from the checkered flag, with a commanding 14.6 second lead over Rich Snape.
He's been flawless out there, a truly dominant performance. He can ease off just slightly now, take no risks, and soak in that well-deserved win.
Martin Mole crosses the line. A magnificent drive from the Dutchman, he takes the victory at Mont-Tremblant. And Phil Bodkin has crossed the line, finishing in 13th position.
Rich Snape takes second place. What a battle that was for him to hold off Lindo in those final laps, a truly impressive defensive drive.
And Jimmy Lindo crosses the line to take third, after an incredible charge in the final stages.
David Constable Barry finishes in a solid fourth place, a great result for him today.
And Neil Constable Barry takes fifth, securing a strong top 5 finish.
2 Constable Barrys in the top 5, an excellent showing for them both, particularly after their close battle earlier on.
Chris Stokes recovers from his earlier incident to cross the line in 6th position.
A very determined drive from him. To lose that much time and still fight back for 6th is a testament to his mental fortitude. He really pushed that Porsche in the end.
Adam Tias crosses the line for 7th, a consistent performance from him today.
And Jareth Hallam takes 8th. He'll be pleased to bring it home in the points after a few battles earlier in the race.
Niall Gagan finishes in 9th place, a strong effort from the M-Class driver.
Thomas Kruger Dorado brings the Shelby home in 10th, securing a valuable points finish.
Tim Weller crosses the line in 11th position.
Dominic Fauvard takes 12th place, a solid drive from him through the midfield today.